This is Modern Service Mastery, Business School with Boots on. Real lessons, real talk, and real growth for the residential service industry. Let's get to work.
Let's start with the big picture, the first week of onboarding. Look, I'm just going to lay it out. You don't have a labor problem, you've got a first week problem. Stats don't lie here. 28% of new hires quit within the first 90 days. That's over a quarter of your hires walking out the door before you've even had a chance to really show them what your business is about.
I mean, that's like wild, right? You've barely handed them their first paycheck and they're gone. It's not like this is just bad luck. It's what you're doing or not doing in that first week. So let's be clear. First impressions matter big time.
They absolutely do. In fact, neuroscience backs this up. First impressions aren't just mental, they're chemical. When you create a welcoming, clear environment, you're triggering spikes of dopamine and oxytocin, the feel-good chemicals that help people feel connected, motivated, part of the team. But if things are disorganized or confusing in those first few days, what you're getting instead is cortisol, triggered by stress, and that tanks motivation faster than you can say, "Where's that new hire?"
Oh yeah, cortisol's the real deal. And I see this play out on the job site all the time. You know, my first day at one of my early jobs isn't one I'll ever forget. The crew leader, I'll just call him Rob, he didn't just wave me off with, "Here's your shovel. Good luck." Rob went full on CDO mode that day.
CDO?
Yeah, Captain Day One, total pro. He grabs me first thing, gives me a full site tour, introduces me to everyone, and says, "Watch how I do things today. How I talk to the client, prep the site, all of it." Then at lunch, he checks in. "What do you think so far?" That one day set the tone for the whole season. If Rob cared that much on day one, I figured the company cared too. And guess what? I stuck around.
That's the power of first impressions, Jake. It's how you anchor emotional loyalty. 7 seconds is all it takes for that first judgment. 7. And emotionally, that impression doesn't just go away. It sticks around, shaping how they see the job, the crew, everything. The real kicker is that first impression works both ways. Your new hire is sizing you up, but your team is also making their own judgments about that new person. Do they fit? Are they adding value?
Yeah, and it's not just about handshakes or saying, "Welcome aboard, buddy." People decide fast if this is the right gig for them. We're talking 3 days. If in those first few days they feel lost or, unseen or just handed busy work, they're going to bounce.
Exactly. And here's the thing. They can't be inspired by your mission if they feel like a misfit in their role. One of the biggest reasons people quit early is role confusion, just not really knowing what's expected of them.
Totally. My crew isn't going to stick around if their whole first week's a guessing game. People are willing to work hard. They are. But they won't work confused. So yeah, your day one better be rock solid.
Rock solid, absolutely. And putting it simply, that first week isn't just onboarding, it's cultural transfer. You're showing them this is how we do things, this is how we treat clients, this is the level of care we bring to the work, and this is why it matters.
And if you don't, well, they're already deciding how much respect to give back, or if they're sticking around at all. It's kind of like that 7-second tool talk we've both seen, right? How you treat your gear on day one shows them exactly how you're going to treat the work moving forward.
Absolutely. And if you're not living up to it, they see it. First impressions stick, no doubt about it. So if your onboarding feels unorganized and reactive, that's what they'll expect going forward. But show clarity, mentorship, a real sense of care. You're starting down the path to loyalty that lasts.
All right, so we've nailed down why this matters. First impressions stick, and the first week sets the tone. But let's flip gears here and talk action. Day one, you're shaping the vibe big time. What's that look like, Mike?
It looks like preparation, and a whole lot of it happens before your new hire even steps onto the job site. Here's the play. You've got their uniform crisp and ready, their gear laid out, a clear schedule, and a culture buddy assigned.
Okay, yeah, and let's zoom in on this culture buddy thing. What are they, like a tour guide with a pep talk?
Kind of. They're like your first friend, but on a mission. They introduce your hire to the crew, answer questions, show them how safety and efficiency work here. The CB reinforces that day one is about setting the standard.
Dude, that's huge. Let me paint the bad version. New hire walks into the shop. The lead hands them a shovel like, "Follow Tony." No intro, no setup. Oh, and at lunch, they're eating alone in their truck. That, my friends, is a crew culture fail.
For sure. Now picture the opposite. First thing in the morning, they walk into a clean shop, and right there is their gear. A shirt with their name on it, a personalized note, maybe even a water bottle with your logo. Then a quick tour. Here's where we organize tools. This is how the trucks are stocked for efficiency. Every little detail says, "We care."
Right, all those details, and then it's about making it count in person. So check this, roleplay time. Say you're the lead and I'm first day Jake. I walk in, boom, hit me with the intro.
All right, so I'd say, Jake, welcome aboard. Here's your kit. Oh, and meet Aaron, your culture buddy. You're going to shadow him today. First, we'll do a tour so you know our setup. By the way, lunchtime's on us. At the end of the day, we'll recap what you noticed. Sound good?
Bam! I'm feeling seen already. And by lunchtime, when Aaron's talking me through the signature moves, like how the crew loads out the trucks or keeps the job site spotless, I'm starting to get it. This team doesn't just work, they've got a rhythm.
Exactly. Structure creates confidence, plain and simple. Day one isn't about overwhelming them with details. It's about showing them how to win here. That's how you anchor loyalty. Now, let's talk about first tasks. One thing I love, assigning a small win, the kind of project they can take ownership of right away.
Oh yeah, like, hey Jake, your first job's going to be prepping the mulch beds at Mrs. Green's house. Gives you a focus point. And as their lead, you're checking in, coaching if needed, but letting them take the win. Feels good when they finish it, trust me.
That's the idea. Give them something where they're not just a cog, but part of the bigger picture. Over the next few days, you're layering on responsibilities. Maybe by the first week's end, they're running part of the setup. Confidence soars when they see their progress.
Okay, so now they've had the tour, rocked their first task, and they're feeling like, yeah, I'm in the game. But here's the real test, Mike, the lunch test. You want to take this one?
Absolutely. Folks, here's a cultural reality check. If your newbie is sitting alone on day one like an outsider, your team just failed onboarding. That isolation's a hard memory to shake, and it screams, we don't know how to welcome you in. Solution? The crew buddy or the lead makes sure they're sitting with the rest of the crew. Lunch is crucial bond building time.
Facts. I'll say it again. Your culture lives or dies at the lunch. So, bosses, ask yourselves, would I feel welcome here on my first day? If not, fix it. No excuses.
And here's the kicker. This isn't just about feeling good, it's retention math. Glassdoor shows companies with strong onboarding see productivity soar by 70%. 70. That's what care looks like in action, and it pays off.
All right, so to recap, day one isn't just a checklist, it's the foundation for loyalty. Prep their gear, assign a buddy, and give them a task that makes them feel like they belong. Oh, and lunch. No one eats alone around here.
So, Jake, earlier you used the term CDO, Captain Day One. Did you make that up, or where'd that come from?
Honestly, I don't even know. I think I just started calling him that in my head. You know, the one person who actually gave a crap on day one. The person who actually cared.
Fair enough. The point is, these little nicknames or cultural phrases like CDO or the lunch test, they pack more meaning than a page of rules ever could. They're sticky. They give teams a shorthand for what great culture looks like, and if done right, they make it fun.
Right, and it's not just about what happens on day one. It's about creating those little moments that stick in people's heads. For us, sometimes it's something as small as grabbing someone their favorite energy drink after a tough day. It's random, but it's personal. And that kind of gesture, that's the stuff that makes people want to stick around.
That's solid, Jake. Simple, memorable, and most importantly, it builds loyalty. Now let's get into a role play to bring this to life. You're mentoring a new hire, day one. They're already confused and starting to doubt if they belong. How do you course correct?
All right, here's how I'd handle it. I'm walking up to the new hire, let's call him Joe, who's kind of lost in the shuffle. I'd say, you must be Joe. I'm Jake. Welcome to the team. Greg said you're from Penn Hills, right?
He nods, maybe smiles, and says, yeah.
I go through there all the time. I'm from Murraysville. So like Greg said, you'll be with me today. Don't worry. Today's about getting the lay of the land. Just shadow me, ask anything that pops into your head, and at lunch we'll talk through what's making sense and what's not. Sound good?
Jake, that's gold. Connection, acknowledgement, and guidance all in one. Now, you shifted Joe's whole experience from nervous to included. That's exactly what mentorship looks like. It's not big speeches, it's small intentional moments.
And it's actually not hard. Start with empathy. How did I feel on day one? Set clear expectations, and then make sure the person isn't eating lunch alone. If they're with the team and people are swapping stories about their craziest jobs, that alone says, yeah, this is my tribe.
Exactly. And here's where resources come into play. The Day One Playbook in this chapter makes the first 30 days brain dead simple. Plus, books like The First 90 Days and The Culture Code are stacked with ideas for building loyalty from day one. Don't reinvent the wheel, just use what works.
Yeah, and honestly, just throw in a bit of personality. Maybe it's something simple, like giving them their official crew sweatshirt at the end of their first day. Or maybe after their first solid week, they earn a pair of the good pruners. You know, the ones everyone actually wants to use. It's not about flashy rewards. It's those little earned moments that show you belong here.
Well said, Jake. All right, to wrap this all up, let's leave our listeners with some quick hits. First, use the Day One playbook in this chapter. Copy it, print it, and make it part of every new hire's experience. Second, remember that everyone plays a role in welcoming new team members, whether it's through mentorship, a simple introduction, or that moment over lunch where stories are shared. And third,
Do the action steps.
yes, those action steps from a day one checklist to a lunch test audit, they're what make onboarding stick in the real world. And finally, hit the comments section in the community feed. Share your wins, your first day stories, even your horror stories, because let's be real, we've all had those. Collaboration builds better teams.
Yeah, you heard the man. Go make someone's first week unforgettable. And hey, don't forget to be kind to yourself. Those wins, you've earned them.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Until then, lead with care and make it stick.
Thanks for listening to Modern Service Mastery Business School with Boots On. If this episode helped you lead, grow, or think differently, share it with your crew and keep the momentum going.